south end. I had to take it out because, honest to God, there was pieces hanging down from the ceiling as long as that. And I don't know. I guess the guy thought this is really good. You know, Juan Valdez will like this, but he didn't realize that some guy who bought the house is going to have to try and paint. So you have to get some of it off. So.
What I found too was the best roller if you're going to paint the ceiling. What I used was the
Sliced foam?
They're far better than
I used it once. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I know lots of people who liked them.
If you go the first day, if you go across one way, let it dry overnight, and then go, because that gets the points of the stucco, and the next day just fill it in. You don't have any problems.
Yeah, those rollers are supposed to be pretty good. So now this little baby here, when these first came out, the lady that I used to deal with, she said, I got a new roller. I was doing some garage doors in Pickering. She said, try this on the garage doors. I said, I'm going to retire in 2000. I don't really want to be painting these doors right up to the day I retire. She said, trust me, you use this. I use this on those garage doors. I phoned her at 1 o'clock and I said, thank you very much. This little sucker will hold a lot of paint and it will cover a lot of ground. It's basically like a cloth. It's almost like a cloth pile, and you would think that it wouldn't. I can paint those two doors with this full, and that's what I use them on, was in the doors, and especially on the Series 800 doors, because the way the groove is, this thing fits in there so nice. It's almost like they measured the doors before they decided to design this roller, and it fits in there, and I can go sideways with it, and I love it. Anybody that ever saw one and said, oh, I'm not going to buy this, too small, buy yourself one. Now, cleaning the roller, I didn't bring a scraper because I wasn't going to make any mess anyway. What I do is I'll scrape my roller into the tray, dump it back into the pail. Now I've learned a little trick over the years. I take my tray and I'll stand it on end and just leave it and walk away. Because you get it balanced properly, it'll drain itself. But then I have some rollers that some guys can't pick up with two hands, and they say, why are you not getting new rollers or no trays? I said, because I'm a cheap fireman for one thing. And I said, it's not worth my time to clean them. I just leave them. I got 8 trays on the go when I have jobs. That's the same thing. This one is, when I first got this, I thought, how am I going to clean that? I can't spin it. So I decided that I'd make myself a little holder. I used that's the handle off a paintbrush. I cut it and I drilled it and I put epoxy in it. And it'll slide in here, and then it slides in my spinner. How many of you ever used a spinner before? Anybody have them? They're worth their money. If they were $200, I would still buy one because it saves you a lot of work, saves you a lot of rollers and brushes. They're excellent. That's what I do with that one. Now, a question came up one time, said, oh, I want to take my rollers off at night and coming back tomorrow, but I'm sick and tired of cleaning them and then getting them dirty the next day. I said, you don't have to clean them. If I'm doing the job, if I'm doing this job and I know I'll come back tomorrow to do the second coat, I'm not cleaning that. I'm wrapping that in a plastic bag. Wrap it around here, snug it up, it's good to go. When I'm finished with it, I don't get hammered. No, sorry, don't. That one right over your heads. Hammered? So I'll clean this out. And somebody asked me one time, how do you manage to get that roller off there after it's got paint in here? Because what it does, the paint, it creates a seal, and then the paint won't let it go. Because I have tried. That's what I do. You would get that off quicker that way than you would. When this is full of paint, and like I said, I'll clean this, but there's paint that gets in here, and then this roller will seal it right there because it has little springs here, right? And you clip on, and it locks it. And when that's wet, and you won't get it off. I mean, you can, but this arm goes flying and hits the customer in the head, and you don't get paid. So that's this little trick right there. It's just a little like that. She's done. Okay, I don't know if I was informative or see all the knowledge I got. The rest I'm going to use in case I get invited to the White House and paint Numbnuts' living room.
Wayne,
Sorry.
show how I noticed when you hold the brush, you're always holding it a certain way, the right way. But a lot of people don't hold the brush properly. That's why they have problems with trim.
Well, hold it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people will hold it here.
That's what I do.
And people hold it right there. That's not the working part of the brush. That's like this. This is not the working part of the hammer. The working part of the hammer is up here. So when you're holding the brush like that, that's not the working part. I hold it about in half. And again, when you're cutting in, don't worry about. I'm not going to go over this all over. Just when you're cutting like that, you've got paint there, right? Your little brush, give yourself something that you don't hit the ceiling. And if you look at it and go, oh, that's not covering, I'll put some more on. Don't put any more on, because when you go back to do the second coat, it covers.
Yeah.
But that's the proper way. That's the way I hold it.
Yeah.
Do you recommend an angle brush versus a...
Like I said, I've been using these for 40 years, and I tried a square brush one time, and I just didn't feel comfortable. These are what they call a sash brush.
Sash.
Yeah, and you can get them, like I said, I normally have 2.5 that I use all the time, but I didn't. This was in my kit, so I thought rather than go buy one just to demo, I'll just use this one. John?
You didn't mention when you're spinning that brush or the roller, you stick it in
No, I stick it in a pail. I have a plastic pail that I got from a restaurant when they used to bring in their relish in it and stuff, and I spin it right in there. Garbage bags. It's kind of hard. It's hard.
My point was you're going to put it in something.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention that. Yeah, because I know that people have tried to spin in the garbage bag, but you're trying to hold the garbage bag and everything else. So yeah, and I spin in the pail, and then eventually I'll dump the pail out somewhere. Cease. A good price?
I mean, I know you get $40, $50,
Yeah.
but for the average.
The average guy, you want to buy yourself a good brush, go to Home Depot and buy what they call a Purdy. Purdy around 19, anywhere between $17 to $20. Purdy, yeah. Yeah, they're the best ones. Now, if you want to buy a reasonably decent brush and not spend a lot of money, but yet still get the use out of it, because I spent a lot of money on brushes because I was using them every day. But the average guy that's going to paint his living room this week and not paint it for 3 years, go to Lowe's. They have their own brand. Doesn't have the Lowe's on it, but it's just a brown handle, 2.5, and they're like $4.95 or something, or $6.95. I find they're adequate. Gort?
Do you ever have anybody ask you to just paint right over that wallpaper?
Yes.
I took 7 layers of paper off the wall and 4 off the ceiling.
7 layers.
So what's the best way to take it off, Gord? What's the best way to take it off? You seem to have experience.
A steamer works, but
Steamer.
it won't work on some, because some wallpapers have
I have-
you should use cutters, but they make this little round thing now with pins,
Yeah.
and you have to run it over the paper so the steam gets through it.
Oh, okay.
But that was a huge chore, and I really want
So after you take off the paper, the glue is obviously left on the wall. Do you clean that?
Gotta wash that. Yeah. Yeah.
TSP?
TSP.
You gotta use TSP,
Yeah.
get it down to where it's basically not sticky, and then you're gonna have to prime it.
Prime it as well.
But yeah, I had a steamer. Actually, I had 2 of them. I left one at a site somewhere. I had no idea, but I bought it from Home Depot. It was the best steamer I ever had, and I used a lot of steamers. And this thing it's just a square with the hose in it. You just hold it there, like 10, 20 seconds. It's perfect. But going through the vinyl, like you're saying, you get down to some places where the vinyl, and that's what they did in the old days. They would just wallpaper over wallpaper. They didn't tear it off and redo it. They just put another layer on top of it. So, John?
Just have one other question. With regard to the brushing wall, my brushes, I tend to get a large amount of buildup up in the
In here?
Yeah, and it's very difficult to clean that part. How do you clean that?
Periodically, I'll take my scraper when I'm working, and I'll scrape it out. If you keep it as clean as you can, that's not going to get a buildup. Then, because what happens is too, sometimes people are putting the brush too far down. That's why I only go to there. But you will get that buildup because the paint will run up into the fibers. But I just take my scraper and keep cleaning it a bit. And the other thing I do is I'll take a wire brush, and then I'll just take it and put it on an angle and scrape it. That way I can keep the the bristles kind of straight, and it gets all the crap out of here. Rick?
Just talking about that, we had a pet dog, we had one of those stainless chrome,
Oh, yes, yeah.
and I keep that in my paint thing now, and help clean my brushes.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Wayne, just go ahead.
Yeah, fingernail brush.
Yeah.
I haven't told that wife, I mean.
Yeah. I wonder why your nails are so fuzzy. Just one more thing and then I'll stop. It made me think you said about using the comb. I used to use the comb years ago and then I ran out of hair, so I went to a brush. When I buy a brand new roller, I'll take it out and I'll go and I'll run hot water in it, and then I'll spin the daylights out of it. And then, well, I was using the comb, but I take my hands and I can pull off there's a lot of lint that comes off. You do that about 4 or 5 times before you start. Because like I said earlier, anything we've done in life, sometimes we have to learn by the mistakes. That's why they're called mistakes, so you learn how to do it the right way. I did a job and you're looking at the walls and go, what the heck is all that stuff on there? Then I realized it was the stuff off of here. Wet it, spin it, and just keep cleaning it. If you think it's clean, take it and turn it the other way, and you'll get more off it. But don't use a brand new roller out of a wrapper right into the paint on the walls, because you're going to get fuzzies all over it.
If you spend money on a good quality one, you don't get as much problem with that better cheap ones. So I was, you get more fuzz.
Yeah, I still I buy good quality rollers, but you still get the fuzz on it. But that's the way they're manufactured. You can't do anything about it. So, but make sure you clean it, because you'll have it all over your walls.
Do you always use a natural bristle brush, or do you ever use polyester?
I use both. You can get brushes now that you can use for both kinds of paint. But I use a lot of polyester, and I use a natural. So, but that's when people say, "Well, I got to go buy a brush for latex and one for oil." But now they have brushes that is good for both paints, so which is fine for the economics of it all. Gentlemen, I hope I was helpful in anything you needed answered, and
Excellent.
see what happens.